everybody, how's it going? Today I'm going to be installing a set of Bilstein leveling struts on my 2019 GMC Canyon. Haven't started any work yet, just removed the wheels, got the vehicle on jack stands. You can see under there the red ones are supporting the majority of the weight. Got one on either side. And then these blue ones are just kind of secondary extra support. They're not really holding anything, they're just about a millimeter below the frame. I've got my wheels stashed underneath the frame there. Anytime you're working on a vehicle with jack stands, you want to be extra careful, guys. Working under a 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 pound vehicle, you're going to get crushed to death very easily. So always take precautions, check your jack stands, and make sure that they can withstand the force that you are lifting and holding. These are 3-ton jacks. I've got 2 of them. These blue ones are 2-ton jacks, so safe to say I've got good support. So we're going to be installing these Bilstein leveling struts, which I already have them assembled. So if you didn't catch my previous video where I show you how to assemble these, I'll post a link to that in the video description. Basically, I bought a set of factory struts from another person that are the exact same kind that are on my truck. That way, when I have this all torn apart, I have reduced downtime and it'll make just it a little bit easier. So you can do that if you want. Find a set, and then you can reuse that set to assemble your new Bilsteins, because you do use some of the parts from the OEM struts in assembling your Bilstein. So anyways, this is what we're going to be installing. I'm going to be using the 4th setting on these Bilsteins. You can see they are adjustable. They've got different levels. There's 5 settings in total, and I'm going to be using the 4th, which I believe is 1.9 inches of front lift. There's a whole video dedicated to assembling these. Go ahead and check that out on my channel. Today's video is going to be strictly installing the struts in place. Also, I'm going to be installing a set of sway bar relocation brackets, which are those there, and a set of new longer sway bar end links. There can be some interference with leveling struts and the factory location of the sway bar. So you can see here, even on the factory strut and the factory location of the sway bar, there's not much room here. Granted, this is full droop on the suspension, but the new ones, you might end up having some clanking. So the sway bar bracket goes in here, and it shifts the sway bar about an inch or so, maybe 3/4 of an inch forward, and then also the longer sway bar links help alleviate the new height of the leveling struts. So thanks for joining me today on another rainy day. I feel like I always do videos when it's raining out, and that's okay. I'm in the garage, so I won't get wet. So the first order of business is I'm going to remove the sway bar completely from the frame. I'm going to start by removing this sway bar end link. Then I'm going to remove the 2 bolts on either end of this sway bar end link bushing bracket. There's just a U bracket there that bolts to the frame. I'm just going to get that out of the way because I have to take it off anyways, and it's just in the way. We're going to go ahead and just take it off. Then we're going to remove the bolts on the bottom of the strut down there. We'll remove the tie rod, and then I may or may not have to remove this upper control arm. We'll see the clearance I have. The factory service manual that I have doesn't indicate to remove this upper control arm bolt. In the past I have, because it gives you a little more clearance. We'll see if I am able to do it without removing it. If I have to, no big deal. We'll remove the 3 bolts on top in here that hold the strut hat to this strut tower. Then we'll swap in the new struts. So anyways, it's a pretty straightforward installation. Without further ado, let's dig in, get this done. First thing is removing this sway bar end link. The top bolt here is a 15 millimeter. There's also the bolt that goes through here all the way down to the lower control arm, and that end is a 13 millimeter. So you'll need the 15 millimeter on top to hold the nut, and then you'll need a 13 millimeter on the bottom to remove the bolt. So I've got the one side removed. I'm going to go to the other side now. Now we're going to remove the sway bar brackets on the frame. There's just 2 10 millimeter bolts there on either end, so you can remove those. So just FYI, there's 2 size bolts on my truck at least. This shorter one was towards the front of the truck, this longer one was towards the rear of the truck. Just make sure when you reinstall them, they go back into the same spots. This part's probably optional, but I'm going to remove this plastic skid plate on the front of the truck so that I can fully remove that sway bar from there, because that's all that's really holding it in place right now. There's 4 15 millimeter bolts holding that on. They're all around the edges. All right, moving forward, I'm just going to show you the driver's side. Everything is the same for the passenger side, so just keep that in mind. We're going to remove this 21 millimeter that's holding the tie rod end to the knuckle. There's a bolt here. So keep in mind, when you're removing this bolt, watch this threaded part. If it starts to spin, you need to use an open-ended wrench and also hold this threaded part where there's flats so that it doesn't keep spinning and spinning and spinning, because then you can damage the tie rod end in the ball joint down here, and you don't want that. If that is happening, chances are your tie rod is probably really worn out, and it's probably a good idea to replace it soon. Since I don't have an open-ended wrench, I'm just going to put a mark on the threads here. Check it every few turns to make sure I'm not actually spinning it. So if you don't have a 21 millimeter, a 13/16 inch wrench socket will also do it. I don't have a 21 millimeter deep well, so I'm using my 13/16 deep well, and it fits just on there perfectly. Checking for that thing spinning. It looks like it's all right. Now I can see the threads underneath. Spinning it all. I'm going to gently tap with a hammer again. A little more than gently, actually. And now it's out of the way. So next I'm going to remove this bolt on the bottom of the strut. It is a 21 millimeter as well. Again, if you don't have a 21 millimeter, you can use a 13/16 inch. I'm going to start this with a breaker bar because it's really tough. I think that's enough to get it started. This is just a bolt, and there's a welded nut on the back side. It doesn't spin, it's welded to the lower control arm, so all you got to concentrate on here is removing the bolt. All right, so now that that bolt is removed, we can remove the 3 bolts on top of the strut hat tower here. There's 3 18 millimeters. The 2 in the front are pretty easy to get to. The one in the back is kind of tricky. You just gotta stick your hand up here because this dust shield sort of gets in the way. It can be done with a open-ended ratcheting wrench. That's what I would recommend. I got one off. There's 2, and the third one is way back. It's not this one here. It's, I don't even know if you can see it with the camera. You see my hand way back here? It's on the back side of the tower. There's 3, it's like in a triangle. So you gotta get your hand way back there somehow to remove it. And there's that third one. So now everything should be removed and we can lift the strut and lower it out of place. Just like that. All right guys, so now we are ready to install our new strut, and there's a certain way you need to install these. You should have assembled them correctly in the first place, so make sure you watch that video I was talking about. On the top of these strut hats, there is a small circle that needs to be facing outside of the vehicle. So these 2 struts are facing outside, the one at the back. So you want a triangle pointing towards the inside of the vehicle, and the circle needs to be facing out. So I'm just going to raise this up into the strut hat area and then line up the hole on the bottom where it goes into the lower control arm, and then we can start bolting things back up. I've got those 3 up top, hand tightened. I've got this sort of in place, but I'm gonna have to push down on the lower control arm just a little bit to line up the hole and get it lined up. All right, so now that I've got this installed, I'm gonna go ahead and torque it. The torque spec is 74 foot-pounds and then another 25 to 35 degree turn. So I'm gonna start with the first setting of 74 foot-pounds. There's 74, and then The second step is another 25 to 35 degree turn. So 25, 35 degrees is approximately 1/12 of a turn. I'm just going to give it another good oomph and it's fine. That's probably good. Next, you can torque down these nuts on top of the strut. There are 3 of them. They're 18 millimeter and the torque setting is 43 foot-pounds. I really can't get my torque wrench in there, so I'm just going to give them a good tighten down by hand. 43 foot-pounds is not a whole lot, so I should be able to do it by hand, no problem. I'm going to go ahead and call that good. Next, we can go ahead and reinstall our tie rod end. So turn your knuckles so that you can get the end of the tie rod up into it and into place. Then find your nut and start turning it on, and then get your 21 millimeter for this as well, or your 13/16 deep well, whatever you have, and start tightening it. Remember to watch for this top part spinning. You don't want this to spin, so at a certain point you may need to switch to an open-ended wrench and hold this top part with another wrench. And I can already tell that's spinning because I saw the boot move down here, so I'm going to hold this with an open-ended wrench and then start tightening this down a little bit with another wrench. This top part is 10 millimeters, so you can use a little open-ended 10 millimeter to hold that in place. And I know this isn't the best procedure to tighten this because I don't have the right open-ended wrench to turn it, but it's good enough to get it tightened up in place. At a certain point, the tapered part of this is getting locked into place on the knuckle, so it won't spin anymore. So that's where I'm at now. I'm going to go ahead and switch back to the socket and tighten it up a little bit more. It's good for now. Now that I got this lined up, I'm going to go ahead and torque it down. It is 26 foot-pounds plus 90 degrees after that. 26 is not a lot, so 90 degrees is another quarter of a turn. I'm going to go ahead and do it in 1/8 turn increments. There's one. There's 2, and it's torqued down, so that's done. Now that we have the strut and the tie rod reinstalled, we're going to install the sway bar drop bracket, and it's basically just a hunk of metal that gets installed in the exact same spot as the bracket, but it shifts the mounting points forward slightly. So there's 4 holes on this thing. There's 2 with recessed holes and then 2 with regular holes that are threaded. The recessed holes are where the factory bolts go through into the frame. So something like that. Those get nice and flush. And then it comes with 2 new pieces of hardware that we'll use to mount the bracket that is got the bushing around the sway bar to this piece. So I'm going to reinstall this. I'm going to put a little thread lock around these just to make sure they don't come loose. And the torque setting on these is 37 foot-pounds, so I got my torque wrench here, and I'm just going to tighten them up. So that's that side. I'm going to hop over and do the other side real quick, but it's exactly the same. Now we can start bringing up our sway bar and reinstalling it into the new drop bracket, and there's 4 bolts that come with the kit. I've gone ahead and pre-applied the Loctite to these. Just go ahead and start lifting your sway bar into place and using the bolts to tighten it up. Alright, so I have that sway bar relocation bracket in place. Everything's tightened up. I didn't torque the bolts that come with the kit that are going into this U bracket into the new drop bracket because this is just aluminum. I didn't want to strip them out, so I just cranked them down on both sides, so it should be fine. I put thread lock around them as well, so they shouldn't come loose. Now the last part is reinstalling your sway bar end links, and you're going to have to do this with the vehicle on the ground so that the weight of the vehicle pushes up the lower control arm into place. With these new ones, it'll be easier once I get the weight of the vehicle on it. So I'm going to reinstall the wheels now and then lower it off of the jack stands and tighten up the 2 end links. Alright, so I have the weight of the vehicle on the suspension, and I'm going to install the sway bar end links. So you just got to line up the bushings and install the bolt and the sleeve and go to town. All right, so I've got everything tidied up. I haven't pulled the truck out of the garage yet, but I can already tell that it's higher than it was just by looking at it. It'll settle probably a ½ inch maybe after it's taken out on the road and after it's aligned and whatnot. So far I'm liking it. Stay tuned for another video. I'm going to do the rear shocks. This video is long enough. I figured I'd split it up into 2 videos. So this is just going to concentrate on the front shocks for now. Don't forget to torque the lug nuts on your wheels after you're all through and everything's done so you don't lose a wheel while you're driving on the road. And also be sure to re-aim your headlights after you've leveled your vehicle, because now they're going to be pointing up a little higher. If you need to know how to do that, I've got plenty of headlight videos on the channel. Just search for how to aim headlights and you'll find something. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Love it if you subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos. We'll see you next time. Later.